There's a few wee niggles, to be fair. Curtis took a bad one on Saturday. Luckily it's not a fracture. He's probably doubtful for the game. Steph's back training, so Steph will come back in. Jamie Brandon's going to need an operation. Tom Parts is still on the recovery trail. Christian Montano probably going to have to be a wee bit careful with him, but again, might make it. And just a couple of niggles, Brian, nothing serious, but we're feeling the effects of niggles and knocks and out, to be fair. But what's there, 5 games before the break, 4 games before the split, something along the lines, the World Cup, so we've got more than enough to get us through. If you probably asked me, would I Rangers or Celtic at home, I'd probably took Celtic at home and Rangers away. I think Celtic are the informed team. I think Celtic are the team to beat this year. Would I rather play them here or Parkhead? I think you'd need to be honest with you, I'd rather play them here. So does it help us? Marginally, but I think they're an informed team. I think there's been huge strides made at Parkhead over the last 12, 14, 16 months. I think Ange has done a fantastic job. The club, the staff, they're in a very, very good place. You only need to look at their performances in Europe. Yeah, they've probably not come out and decide their performances have been there. Maybe the results haven't been there, but look at it for 60 minutes of Real Madrid. I thought they were incredible. So that shows you the calibre of the opponent that we're going to be facing on Sunday. Don't care what anybody outside these 4 walls thinks. Internally, we put pressures and demands on myself. Externally, I don't listen to the noise, Brian. Don't listen to the noise. I know what we've got in the building between the staff and the players, and I'm more than comfortable with what we've got. And honestly, I use Twitter for football knowledge, for my football information for myself. I stay away from Livingston connected stuff or that kind of thing. I don't really read the papers too much, so I just put demands and pressures on myself internally. Don't really care what people think externally, and that's me being probably too candid with you. I don't think we can say there's a key to success. If we had success staying in the Premier League, missed out top 6 last year, lost in a cup final, so as much as you probably say success, there's an element of being unsuccessful within that. We've missed out in Europe a couple of times, missed the cup final as I spoke about, missed out in the top 6 with the last kick of the ball basically last season. So among that success, it's probably viewed in these buildings as more unsuccessful. So I think we just come in every day to work hard. We apply ourselves, we've got a good attitude, a good application, we're all in it together. There's no divides, it's not a them and us in this building, it's just an us. And collectively, it's all about the we. So we work very, very hard for one another. We've got one another's backs, and I think if you can apply yourself properly, Brian, in life, not just football, and work hard, I think you get your just rewards at the end of the day. But there's probably a lot more hard work and detail goes into the preparation of Livingston on a weekly basis, and maybe the hard work covers over that. People from externally look in and go, oh, they work extremely hard. There's a lot more detail goes into the weekly planning, but that's down to the staff and the players at the club. There's an option generally with the English lads coming up from down south. I've always found personally there can be a 6 months to 12 months adaptation period, and you get a really good second year out of them. I'm not saying they don't have a good first year, but there is that adaptation period, and probably from the levels we're recruiting players, if I was maybe going in and picking players up for League One, that adaptation period is probably a lot quicker. So every player that comes into the building for around League 2, National League levels are on 2+1s. That gives us a wee bit of protection, security as a club. They come in the first year, find their feet. Second year, generally if we both do our job right, they hit the ground running and they're in a good place, and as a club we need to protect that asset in the third year. So Joe and Niall, very, very similar. They're coming into their third year options with the clubs, which will be taken. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of National League clubs that are very similar in terms of the direct style they play. There's part-time football involved in that also. So getting Joel up there, I wish I could send everybody up to Dick for 6 months, if I'm honest, to get them used to Scottish football. Dick and Pink, both as a club, played a huge part in fast tracking Joel. If I'd maybe kept Joel in the building It's debatable. It's debatable if he'd been up and running come the January. It might have took him a wee bit longer than that, because his game time, he wouldn't have come in and been playing the amount of games he played at Arbroath at the start of the season. So it fast tracks him, in my opinion, gets him used to life in Scottish football, and then they come back to me, and hopefully by the time they come back to me, they're better players. I've seen it with Jack Hamilton, I've seen it with Joel Newbley, Scott Basindu's up there just now, and hopefully it's a partnership that can bear fruit in the coming months, coming seasons as well, because I think Pink and Dick do a fantastic job. I think Arbroath, a fantastic club, part-time club, punching well above the weight, very, very similar to ourselves, albeit we're in the Premier League. Two totally different games, Kerry, two totally different games. Ibrox away and Celtic at Livingston, I think it's two totally different games, two totally different game plans, and people will probably watch both games from the terraces, watch both games on television and say, what are you talking about? You look like the same shape, same formation, but there's a lot of different detail that goes into both games personnel as well. So, I know where the comparison comes from, but from my point of view, probably don't take anything from last week other than a wee bit of disappointment, a wee bit of frustration, and a point. They'll not. No, we come in, Kerry, win, lose or draw, we come in, put the game to bed and move on to the next game. So feels like it was a million years away last week, if I'm honest. You're that focused and that prepared for the game on Sunday that what we've done last week collectively as a group doesn't really come into the equation. Yeah, I think it's difficult. Obviously St Mirren took points off Celtic, but I think Celtic are the team to beat. I think Celtic are the team to beat. They've got loads of confidence, loads of momentum behind them. Not making Europa, or the possibilities really of making the Europa group stages, probably impacts, and just thinking slightly coming into this game, if they had to go to Madrid, pick points up, maybe he's resting a couple of players, I don't know, but it's a wee bit different. But I think Celtic's a different breed this year. I think it's a big ask, but do you know what, we've done it before, we'll do it again, and we've got every opportunity to do so on Sunday. But I think I've got to give a massive respect, massive kudos to Celtic, the players and the staff, because I think they've been fantastic. I think if it wasn't for the World Cup, you'd maybe have seen a wee bit of a gap open up come the January window, in terms of you can really see a split. You've got 3 or 4 chasing third, you've got 3 or 4 chasing top 6, and then you've got 3 or 4 trying to avoid relegation. I think with the World Cup giving us that 5-week window, I think it's going to allow teams to take a breather, reset and go again, and then you're into the January window, where historically I think you can see a lot of performances mid-November to very early January, late December. That's when a lot of teams struggle because of the amount of games, impacts on the squads, or you've maybe not recruited as well as you thought you did in the summer window, but you've got January, so that period of games are going to be after January now. We're going to play more games in the January, so I think the World Cup's going to give teams a wee bit of a breather to reset and go again. Then you're going into the January window to strengthen. So I think it's going to have slightly different dynamics on the league this year in terms of what we've seen historically. I think if you take the Old Firm out of the equation, I think every single team, you get into a game, you probably got your favourites on that day of the game, but are you surprised if the other team wins? Probably not. If we beat Ibrox and got a win, St Mirren beat Celtic at Paisley, you were surprised at that. So when you're playing the Old Firm and the opposing team wins, you're probably a wee bit surprised. But I think anybody else in that league, are you really surprised when the underdog or the one that's not the favourite wins that game in football? I don't think you are. There's always a rationale to say, well, I can see why that happened, and that shows you how tight the league is out with the Old Firm.